Good morning. My name is Carmen Valdivia. I am the president of Operation Pedro Pan Group Inc. And at this time, I would like to recognize the people that have made this event possible. Miami-Dade County Mayor, Carlos Jimenez. Miami-Dade County Commission Chairwoman, Rebecca Sosa. Miami-Dade County District 10 Commissioner, Senator Javier Soto. Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreation and Open Spaces Director, Jack Cardis. Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation and Open Spaces Chief Maria Nardis. The members of our Board of Directors and Board of Trustees, can you please stand so we can recognize you? Okay. We have Jorge Finlay, Carmencita Romanach, Silvia Curiel, Paco Echeverría, we have Bueno here, and Eloy Cepero. I think those are... Elena. And Elena Mueller. I'm sorry, Elena. Okay, there you are. And I see my son. I'm happy. Okay, and we also, we have 3 Kendall Camp alumni that we need to thank. One is a historic committee member, the late Guillermo Ricardo Paz, my ex-husband, who before he passed away started the research on his camp, while I was working on the research on the Florida City camp. And we also have historic committee member and board of directors member, Carmencita Romanach, who with Guillermo started the work on this camp. They used to come and talk to the Kendall Indian Hammocks Park manager, Eduardo Martinez, who has been a blessing. I'm going to give a recommendation in front of his bosses because he has been awesome. He prepared the park and he was always interested in the park's history, and we exchanged photos, and we have been working with him for years on the history and documenting the history of the park. And we also have a trustee of the organization and a historic committee member that is in Atlanta, Jose Antonio Amaro Reyes. We have been working, him and I, on the Pedro Pan History Master Plan, and it was his idea to name the street. And so I would like all the Kendall Camp alumni to please stand so we can recognize you. This is your day, Kendall Camp alumni, because history takes place within the context of people and places. And if places could speak, Kendall Camp could tell the story of a real-life fairy tale that took place here. While we are Pedro Pans and never, never, ever Peter Pan, like Cuba calls us, we do have much in common with that famous fairy tale. Like the Peter Pan story, our Pedro Pan story has heroes. Our parents that made a selfless sacrifice so that we could live in freedom.
Amen.
Monsignor Brian Walsh and James Baker, the masterminds of the plan to save us.
Amen.
The people in Cuba that risked their lives to help us live. We have Mongo and Polita Grau that spent years in prison for the crime of helping us. We have Finlay and Berta de la Portilla, I'm sorry, Sara del Toro, de Odio, Penny Powers, the names, the list is endless. And then we have the people that helped us once we arrived. We have George Warch, his daughter is here, Lynn, and he's the one that greeted everyone at the airport. He's the first one to calm our fears. We have the Sisters of St. Philip Neri with La Madre Maria Victoria that is here today. They were the ones that took care of the children here in this camp, and then they went to Florida City and took care of us that were in Florida City. I can't mention them all because the list goes on and on. But like the Peter Pan story, our story has villains. Just like in Peter Pan, we have a beautiful, beautiful island and a Captain Hook. Like the Peter Pan story, our story has a land to escape to. Instead of Never Never Land, we found the land of the free and the home of the brave. And like the Peter Pan story, our story has children, over 14,000 children, that had to become adults in the 45 minutes that it took for us to fly from Cuba to Miami. But much like the children in Pedro Pan, the Peter Pan children have refused to grow up, and forever we will be Pedro Pan children, even in our 60s and 70s. Like the Peter Pan story, our Pedro Pan story has a moral. The moral of our story is that freedom is not free, that our freedom came at a very costly price. And like the Peter Pan story, our Pedro Pan story has a happy ending. Yes, we suffered. Each and every Pedro Pan suffered greatly. But we prevailed because we are free people. We have the freedom to speak our minds, the freedom to worship, the freedom to follow our dreams, and the freedom not to pursue our dreams at all. It is up to us. The sign that we will be unveiling here today allows this place to speak long after we are gone and unable to tell our story of what happened in this place and in all the other places that shelter the Pedro Pan children. The sign will help to tell the story of what happened to us, but much more important than what happened to us is why it happened. Because teaching our history to the future generations is the best way to ensure that it never happens again. And that the legacy that we paid such a high price for will be a legacy of freedom that we'll hand down to our children, the children of our children, and all the future generations of Pedro Pan. Thank you. And now, I would like to introduce the Honorable Mayor of Miami-Dade County, Carlos Jimenez.